So, regarding blaming other people, what I believe is that it doesn't matter whether the reason why we're in the position that we're at is because of someone else or whether it's our own doing. Because Romans 8:28 says, and we know that God, or rather, it says that we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. So in all things, whether good or bad, God works it together for our good. And even this thing that Adam and Eve did, God worked it together for our good eventually, because now He sent Jesus Christ to restore to us what Adam and Eve lost, to restore to mankind what Adam and Eve lost. So whatever thing that happens, whether it's good, whether it's bad, God is able to work it for our good. He works it for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. So according to this verse, it means that my responsibility is twofold. It's to love God and to keep myself in His will or in His purpose. That's all I need to do. In other words, it doesn't matter whether so-and-so is making me stuck, so-and-so is the reason why I'm not prospering. It honestly doesn't matter, because even with Joseph, his own brothers were the reason why he was in prison. He was a slave. He suffered, greatly for 17 years, right? But God still made Joseph's brothers still come and kneel before Joseph himself, because God works all things together for our good. So my responsibility, all I have to do is to love God and to keep myself in His purpose. But then again, how do I love God if I don't trust Him completely? And to trust Him completely is going to be reflected in my actions, right? So if I think that God is withholding things from me, and I think that the reason why He's telling me, not to partake, when I look at what God says, and I think to myself that the reason why God is not allowing me to partake of a certain lifestyle is because He's depriving me of something, how am I going to be able to love Him? So first, I must learn to trust Him. We tend to make faith, trusting in God, seem as something that's very difficult. If we believe that God is a good God, then it's not difficult for us to trust Him. We just have to decide that I'm going to trust Him. And how do you decide? You decide through your actions. Your actions reflect what you believe. I keep giving the example that if you believe that it's raining outside, you're going to carry an umbrella when you go outside. You're not going to say it's raining outside and then just walk out, even though you know it's raining. All right. So when we trust God, we listen to what He says and then we do it. That communicates that we trust Him. If we say we trust Him, but we still do something that He tells us not to do, why do we claim to trust Him? But if we trust Him, that's how we're able to love Him. It says all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to His purpose. When we trust Him and we also act according to what we believe, that means that we do the will of God. Because when we act according to His word, we're doing His will and we're keeping ourselves in His purpose. So my responsibility is twofold: is just to love God and to keep myself in His purpose, and He will work all things together for my good. Whether good, whether bad, it doesn't matter. God will work it for my good.